about Hoodslam. From something that we did with no budget, no, we didn't even charge tickets, just a bunch of us that wanted to fuck around and do a show and have more fun. This has gone a long way.
Now, what about Hoodslam? You call yourselves the most controversial wrestling promotion company in the United States. What is it?
Juice Lee! Wait a minute! Juice Lee!
It's a fantasy world that is completely detached from reality.
Hoodslam was something small that exploded into something big, and I think it was a complete accident.
Whoa! What are you rolling through? Smoke in the eyes! Smoke in the eyes! No! No!
It's my night to get steam off. It's my night to yell. It's my night to get too drunk. It's my night to go too far and have too much fun.
Holy shit! Here we go! This is gonna be it! 2! It's not over!
It started out as a show for the boys, by the boys. We weren't looking to draw a crowd. We weren't looking to make any money. It was just the guys having fun.
That's why we call it the accidental phenomenon. This was not supposed to happen.
This is the entrance that everyone is just in awe of when they show up. This is, that's how you know you're about to see something real. So I hope you guys come on in and enjoy it, take part in some of the magic that we've shared here. Now I live here. I didn't live here first, but we're gonna see all that too. Welcome.
Making his way to the ring,
When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I, was into, of course, Ninja Turtles, Kung Fu movies, and then pro wrestling. I did some martial arts, I did some theater, I did some other things, amateur high school wrestling, and I combined them all together, and I realized, on their own, I didn't really enjoy any of them. I liked martial arts, but I couldn't really be egotistical. Same with amateur wrestling. Theater was all performance, but there was no physical fun to it. It's pro wrestling, it's one-take fight scene, live on all sides, improvised. And it's all about your character and your showmanship. And that, to me, was one of a kind. There's no other way around it. That was the only thing for me to do.
Everybody here, stand up right now and clap for me or get the fuck out.
So the Dark Sheik character was the evolution of my character. I started here on the show as Sheik Hanabadi because, everyone can relate to the Middle Eastern religious militant. Everyone is familiar with that in today's day and age. To add on to the Middle Eastern aspect now, he's the undead jihadist, which I think is every American's fear, a suicide bomber that could keep coming back.
I remember him when he was going to go train at BTW when he was just a teenager, 15 or 16. He's showing me his rope, marks on his fucking back from running the ropes. Pro wrestling has always been his thing.
Dark Sheik puts the fight. He's a long way away.
Mother passed away a long time ago, so her opinion in this is kind of not there. My father, at first, he would always say, this is a fun hobby, this is good, I want you to do something else though. I don't want you to live this life. Because, he's an educated man, he went to college, and I did not. So once he got to see me perform a couple times, he realized I was where I was supposed to be.
He's kind of like the cult fan favorite, really. You can go out there and he's, supposed to be heel, but the crowd still loves him.
A good man, the originator of everything what is Hoodslam, and the one that helped spark a lot of life back into the wrestling community on the West Coast, and then a lot of life into the wrestlers itself.
I
I mean, he's such a good nurturing force for indie wrestling. And he takes what he does so seriously while still being able to not take it seriously, that it's such a good balance that he finds perfectly.
And there's my oh-so entertaining room. It's not always this messy. The day after Hoodslam was a little different than usual. Just come on in. I wasn't gonna show you this, but I guess I might as well, because it's outdated. There's still stuff from before. This is the Hoodslam wall of who's got the footage, outreach we need to do. This section is not yet done, clearly. Or merchandise numbers, show ideas. This is my command center. This is usually swept off, and there's, a laptop, and it's not a fucking shithole. But it's the day after Hoodslam and shit goes down.
And one thing real quick about the background of Hoodslam, I feel that there should be a nod or a homage to something called beer brawl.
We're at fucking Beer Brawl, baby, 2008. We're about to tear the fucking house down, baby. You better watch and learn. This is the shit. Oh my God. I'm on all types of medication and I'm drinking beer. That's never a good thing.
I ran a promotion in my hometown of Antioch, California with Dustin Mel, which is known as D Unit of the Suburban Commandos. We ran at the Contra Costa Fairgrounds, and one day we were told by the fairgrounds that our show wasn't gonna be happening that night.
Start, bringing our shit in, and they're like, oh, you need to pay an extra $400 for security because you didn't tell us about the fans bringing the weapons thing. We're like, what the fuck, we don't have $400?
We had no choice. They wanted way more money than we had, and they were just jacking prices up left and right.
So we didn't do the show. Everybody showed up to Rick's house.
I turned to D-Unit, to Dustin, and said, hey man, why don't we buy a whole bunch of beer, go back to the house, set the ring up, let's have a beer brawl.
We got the whole roster of NorCal. We got everybody in this bitch. Chupacabras in the house. And we're about to tear the house down along with the whole Yorktown, baby. That's how we do it. Woo!
Beer Brawl wasn't even a show. Beer Brawl was a party for the boys, and there was wrestling on it, but it was just guys jumping in a ring and having a good time.
Party going to the top rope. Oh! Good God Almighty, he's been broken in half.
We did matches, or just fuck around matches. Jesus Cruz had his stun gun out and was stunning people, and had Johnny Plinko with a big rubber fucking hand on his gimmick hand.
This is Beer Brawl, and things are getting a little out of control.
It was funny, we had beer bongs on the fucking poles.
This will not help his longevity of the match.
And they would do rules like big tag team matches. Everyone has to drink before they tag.
Drunken idiots everywhere in this building here.
Then it went on. We had a fourth one, and that one was even bigger. Cops were getting called left and right.
Yeah, he actually said not to be hanging out in front of the house, so you coming out here with the camera is doing the exact opposite of what the cops said.
And that was a lot of fun. I had never seen anything like it, and it was so fun, and that everyone's doing what they want.
I'm the designated driver!
I think part of the seeds were planted there, because that was a really cool thing, and I told them repeatedly, Rick and those guys, you need to put this in a bar.
Everything we needed was there, except for the platform, the drive, and the place to expand and better ourselves.
Sheik had an idea of taking let's drink and smoke and do goofy gimmicks and party to a venue.
We were trying to come up with a name for it, for this idea that Sheik had. Something Slam was the name. And Sheik goes, it's in the middle of the fucking hood. And I don't know, either Sheik or one other wrestler that was call it Hoodslam.
The nice people at the Victory let me know that they had a warehouse that we could perform at. Devil Mountain Wrestling let me know that I had a ring that I could use, of theirs, of course, for very cheap. And that was it. The wrestlers were very willing to come here. I promised no money.
I got a call, I want to say it was January, early 2010, maybe late 2009, from Sheik on a Body, saying, hey, I got this venue in Oakland, it's a warehouse. Do you want to, work it? You can do whatever the hell you want. Okay, so is it like beer brawl, which was the thing we used to do back in the day? We just, kind of party and there's a ring. So I was like, is it kind of like that? He's like, yeah, but we'll actually have gimmicks, and storylines. I was like, okay, yeah, hell yeah, that sounds like a good time.
First show was the first show. It was very disorganized. It was in the Victory Warehouse, which is its own. I'll just leave it at that. It was in the Victory Warehouse.
It's hard to even call it a warehouse. It's more like a loft, sort of. Yeah, I was expecting something bigger when I walked in. It was like this grimy punk rock
crash pad.
It was dirty and smoky, and it was like
graffiti on the walls.
It was like everything you wanted it to be. Everything that Hoodslam should be.
It was crazy to go in there because it's just on the corner. I remember I couldn't even find it the first time I was looking for it. Across the street from it was like Victory Furniture, and I'm like, is this the venue? No. And so I go in there, and there's this fence, and there's all sorts of shady characters all around the place. But you could tell right away that it was something that was going to be great.
When we first did Hoodslam here in April 2010, the ring was right here, and then just all the way against to this wall, people.
The band would set up right here, and all 30 fucking wrestlers would be kind of crammed into this space. So this was like our whole backstage / sound area.
Just in terms of lighting, there's a lot of lighting challenges. The lighting we would use would blow out the power for the entire pack of D batteries they have that powers the place.
There's maybe, 50 or so people there. It was a really short show, probably not even an hour worth of actual content, but fuck them, it's free.
And like Johnny Plinko's wasted, man. Like, he's like the first 2 Hoodslams, he doesn't even remember it.
He used to show up at like 11 in the morning at the Victory Warehouse, not to help set up, but just to get partying. And he'd be banging on the fence at like 10, 11 in the morning, coming all the way from Atwater, 6-pack of Steel Reserve cans and a bottle of H&H.
Hours before the show, I crack open the bottle. I killed the bottle.
And we went to do booking meeting, and he was just gone. No one had any idea where he was.
Let's have a porta potty out front. Or you're so drunk you fell asleep standing up peeing in there, and the show started, and we're like, where's Johnny?
Someone knocked on the outhouse. He was like, what's up, man? He's like, ah. He was in there for at least a half an hour, 45 minutes. Probably passed out.
No, I wasn't passed out. I was still standing. Like, were you awake? I was still on my feet. Like, are you gonna wrestle? Like, yeah. He wants to push it back? No, I'm ready. Like, you're first. Like, okay.
All my dreams.
I mean, he was on another planet.
For my curiosity.
I remember like he was hitting the ropes. Like I'd never seen somebody hit the ropes that drunk. Still held it together. Still got the match over. I've never seen somebody drink that much and be able to do what he does.
He's dead, and he's never coming back.
You have to go to a lot of Hoodslams to understand that man when he gets on the mic.
So, are we clowns right here? I'm wondering.
Because I'm looking at you every time he cuts a promo, and I'm like, what did he just say?
Did he fight again? And he had his brain transplanted and nobody in the order.
Let's use the word inaudible. If I can translate the inaudible to audible, I will act as the middleman between the competitor and the audience to try to get at least the essence of the
planet filled with devil, and it's gonna go to the television.
He's just one of those guys that's just a fun-loving guy. That's the only way I can really explain Plinko.
How many motherfuckers you know got fucking golf clubs in the kitchen? One now.
He can go out there and he can have a good match, but find a way to make sure it's fun for everybody involved, including the fans.
We like Plinko. We have a lot in common. He likes to drink, we like to smoke. He works with kids. We work with kids. He likes to smoke.
Did we just say that in the same sentence? Drink, smoke, kids. Promote that.
Jesus. But you know what? Props to him because he's living his life the way he wants to. He's having a blast doing it. He's dancing from the time he walks through that curtain to the time he walks back through that curtain, even if he just got his ass handed to him.
Oh my fucking God! Holy shit on a fucking fuck!
He is having a good time the whole time. Shit-faced drunk every step of the way.
The first show, I think we had about 45 people. The second, maybe 27, 28. The third, about 70. The fourth, about 100. The fifth, 120. Until we were over 200 people leaking out of every possible place, just maximum capacity.
I mean, the dressing room was crammed because so much room was dedicated to getting the fucking people in.
Just turned into friends, talking to friends, and before you know it, we were feeling that victory.
And you had to fight your way through a sea full of people just to get into that ring.
It was kind of weird, but at the same time, it was fun because it was like a new atmosphere for a lot of us who've been around a long time, and it was a break from the monotony of the same shit every time we go wrestle.
Kind of funny now when I think about it, because I'll sit here and eat breakfast and watch Netflix. I'm like, we used to wrestle here. We had 200 people here.
The Victory Warehouse was like a cult following. It was something you heard about. It was 100% underground. I really think that's what made the success of Hoodslam is it started off as an underground thing. You had to know about it. Someone had to tell you about it. You showed up like, is this really going on? And then you got there and it was just a party.
The only way to put it is very punk rock. You know, it was like very alternative. You know, it was nothing like it.
When they started doing shows at the Victory, nobody thought that, like, you know, oh, we can charge people tickets or this, that, or anything. It grew organically.
It was just a big accident. We fucked up and did good. Basically, we fucked up and found success.
Every independent company is a little different. There are other companies out there who try to emulate WWE or TNA as best they can and hope that they'll make money off that same kind of product, and it doesn't work out.
A lot of other companies have problems either because they're wrestling at a church. Their audience is primarily children. Wrestling is, you know, usually you market it to the kid and the parents buy the ticket because they bring their kid there. That's how you get 3 tickets. We don't have any children in our show.
Why even try and be kid-friendly when you know it doesn't work? If you see 18 other companies being kid-friendly and it doesn't work, why be kid-friendly?
Again, what's important in wrestling, to me, is to be different. Because if we were throwing on the same show that's on every Monday, Thursday, Friday night, why would you not watch that show for free and sit on your couch?
I always say Hoodslam is the adult industry version of wrestling. It is very unique because we have sort of our own niche. Like I always say, Hoodslam is not wrestling. Hoodslam is Hoodslam.
Blueberry pancakes!
You damn right!
At first, it was bring your own beer and 420 friendly. That was something a lot of other companies not only dislike, but are never, ever capable of doing, even if they did like it. We could, and it brought us a new audience, something that, you know, people that wouldn't even watch wrestling, but they were here for this party atmosphere. And that's really what we're selling and how we're able to do better than other companies.
The atmosphere we created there, wrestling's secondary almost. Like the atmosphere, to me, is what's the biggest part of Hoodslam.
There's no barricade, no security, so they're up banging on the mat. They're a part of the show. They start chanting the most ridiculous things, no matter what. We've had chants like John Wilkes Booth, blueberry pancakes.
First time ever, chance of gaping butthole going up here at No Man. First of many, I'm sure.
Business ethics was a good one. Yeah, business ethics.
Cum bubble. Twat waffle, that's what it is. You know, they'll chant twat waffle, and you're like, what the fuck?
This isn't your grandpa's wrestling anymore, but yet the wrestling's still really pure in a lot of senses. There's still a lot of traditional style that leaks through. It's just with insane, fun, over-the-top gimmicks.
Otis the Gimp is one of those characters that was so perfect I did not have to tweak it at all. And I just knew right away we needed that. That would put us on another level of entertainment.
Hailing from his dirty-ass basement in San Francisco, California,
Got this huge guy dressed up in kinky bondage gear who's basically like, his gimmick is that he's like sexually molesting the other wrestlers.
I mean, it's like, what else am I supposed to do? You know, it's
a gimmick.
I'm a gimp. You know, it's like, I want to touch you. Typically, I warn the guys before I go out there. I go, you understand, I will be molesting you throughout the match.
If there's a hole on you, around you, he will find it. And if he doesn't, he'll make one.
Doesn't matter if it's a blowhole or a sink drain, top of a Pringles can.
It could be a rusty keyhole, and Otis the Gimp will find a way to insert some part of himself in it.
Those hand-dry blowers in the bathroom. I could go on forever.
Oh, God. Oof.
The guacamole shooting gun at Taco Bell.
Yeah, you don't know where that's been, Mega Man. You don't know what, some sort of rubberized cock and balls hidden. It's like a fleshlight from the future.
I've had plenty of run-ins on that fucking dildo over the years, and even not at Hoodslam. Jesus Christ.
And the first dildo chant has broken out of Hoodslam.
Yeah, and let me not forget, by the way, he will cap it off with the oil check, which can be performed 2 different ways. I know. Yes.
He checks the oil, and that's where he drops you on all fours and he puts his thumb up your butt. Well, if he likes you, you get this, you get nothing. If he doesn't like you, he really is gonna put his thumb up your butt.
Otis the Gimp is something that has become a staple in Hoodslam, and it's something that is always unpredictable what he's going to do. You have an idea, but then he changes it, and he surprises you in a different kind of way.
What is the most offensive way to pin somebody? Well, I'm gonna straddle their face while I pin them.
Like, oh, do I want balls in my chin or balls in my mouth? I don't want balls anywhere.
I've never got a tea bag from Otis. Have you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've never been teabagged by him either.
How do you get up from that?
Maybe I'm not privileged enough to have his balls in my mouth.
You can have people of all walks of life cheering a big 300-pound guy in a zipper mask waving a dildo around as he fucks a sheep, and the crowd is cheering for him. Like that's something special. that's
He stands out. I wish more people were willing to stand out as much as Lance is willing to stand out. And he just doesn't give a fuck about standing out. He's so comfortable with who he is that's another facet of the lovability of him.
You don't get embarrassed by him?
No way. He's awesome.
I want a copy of that because I think in about 5-6 years,
Yeah,
exactly. Remember this?
You used to think I was so cool.
Stuff that we are able to do and get away with and have the crowd into it the entire show from start to finish. When they're coming in, they're into it. You don't find independent companies that way.
I'd say it's a the first professional wrestling show I've ever been to. It felt like a concert. It felt like a big event. It felt like the circus truly was in town.
Because we've got gore. And on top of that gore, we have the sideshow. On top of the sideshow, we have the live music. On top of the live music, now we have the wrestling. And after the wrestling, we have all this beer and contraband that you can smoke, drink. It's a crazy party after it's all said and done, and you've layered on top all these different flavors, and it's pretty much anybody's wrestling show, because if you go to a Hoodslam show, you're gonna find something that you like, because we throw everything against the wall.
Looking hilarious.
I think the best testament to Hoodslam that I can give, and I tell this to anybody I tell Hoodslam about, is I've been wrestling for 10 years, and I've dragged so many of my friends and families to my shows so many times, and some of them like wrestling, some of them don't, but they'll come and watch me, you know, to support me. I've brought in those same people to Hoodslam, and they can't shut the fuck up about it afterwards. They had the time of their life. When's the next show? They absolutely loved it. And that's the difference. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to love Hoodslam. If you like comedy and pop culture and just an exciting, funny time, you could really not have watched wrestling a day in your life and love it.
Okay, what are the stupidest gimmicks that have been pitched to you?
Anthony Butabi.
No. Oh, wait, both men are charging up. Here comes.
Anthony Butabi is the younger but bigger brother of Johnny Butabi.
Oh, God damn it! That's right, it hurts.
He's Johnny Drinko. He's the brother that likes to get drunk all the time. I'm the brother that likes to get high all the time.
And tonight, babies, we're all getting fucked up.
The weed goes straight to his fucking head. I've never seen somebody get that high so easily.
I am a substitute what is the job title?
You're an instructional assistant.
I am an instructional assistant, but I'm a substitute for special needs kids. or sometimes I work with remedial kids, you know, they need help with their algebra and they can't focus. So I'm there to just be like, you know, hey, pay attention.
And you're there to help them?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, we have a drug policy here, and it's very strict. If you're not on drugs, you're not allowed to compete.
Well, Riv is the Butabi character. He's a funny guy, thinks he's sexy. And
There's gonna be so many chicks here tonight, I can't wait.
I enjoy him as a person. I always look forward to smoking weed and just kicking back with him. He's funny as hell.
His bulge has its own Facebook page. It's pretty epic.
You know his bulge has a Facebook page?
It's the second time we've heard that.
If you're drinking tonight and you don't give a fuck, say fuck that shit!
Anthony Butabi. He's the only man that has wrestled at every single Hoodslam.
even when injured, when he had a leg injury, he was still there.
I remember a 6-man tag match at the Panther Party. Riv did that whole match on a crutch. It's quite a sight to see. That's dedication.
He loves Hoodslam. He bleeds Hoodslam.
I think once he finally came into Hoodslam and was himself, he finally evolved. By being at Hoodslam, has morphed him and made him a better wrestler.
Normally when I'm backstage and I'm about to go out, like I'm nervous. There's so many questions that are about to be answered when you're about to hit that curtain.
We're all gonna get lit!
But at Hoodslam, I don't feel nervous. I just feel really excited. There's not a whole lot of pressure there because you're just kind of there to party and have fun.
Smoke weed every day!
people that judge Hoodslam and paint it with the broad stroke of it being a druggy, alcohol-fueled...
Or accurate.
Fair enough.
Taboo things that you hear about pro wrestling or independent wrestling is, you know, no drinking, no smoking, no making yourself intoxicated that you can't control yourself. And Hoodslam gets shunned upon it a lot because that's Hoodslam's atmosphere.
But I do think it's important to note that just because someone is on a Hoodslam show does not mean that they are intoxicated, inebriated, abbreviated, DWI, DOI, any of those sort of things. Some people are, you know, literally sitting there having a Red Bull or a 5-hour energy and doing a match. Some people have been chain smoking blunts and drinking Remy Martin since 3 p.m. before the ring got there.
Oh my God.
Are some of the guys drunk? Yes. Are some of the guys high? Yes. Do accidents happen at Hoodslam? Yes. Shit happens. It's pro wrestling.
I would say for any injury that's ever happened at Hoodslam, that it's not like it's never happened at your sober indie company, your family-friendly indie company.
If you're 100% honest about it, and I can say this because I've been in a lot of locker rooms, but you know, I've seen guys in traditional wrestling locker rooms down a case of beer before they go out and wrestle, and nobody says anything because they're a draw.
And I mean, there's been performers in wrestling, obviously the Sandman really being the first publicly, you know, as far as drinking in the ring and making it a big part of their thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin obviously drank a lot of beers involved in matches.
But the fact that at Hoodslam, we're like, yeah, we have a couple of drinks beforehand, we partake, and we're honest about it, suddenly people get up in arms and they're, oh my God, a dangerous work environment. And I've actually heard indie wrestlers in Northern California say, I would never work for Hoodslam because I think it's a dangerous scenario. Well, first of all, nobody ever asked you.
But I think that if those people were to let go a little bit of judgment and go to one show, I think that Hoodslam is something you can't help but enjoy, no matter how straight-laced you are. If somebody goes to Hoodslam and hates it, I don't know what's wrong with that person.
Now, at first, I mean, it just looks like a big drug party. And if you actually watch it, you see some actual wrestling happening. It's comparable to any independent company across the U.S.
To tell you the truth, whether it's allowed in locker rooms or not, or at the venues or not, the Commandos, I don't think have ever wrestled sober in their life.
Yeah, fans will offer us like bong loads or pipes. You know, I don't know what's in it, but I'll hit it.
I'm hoping it's good.
The Stoner Brothers are usually the suburban commandos on the independent scene, D-Unit and T-Rent. They're friends of mine from the scene for years, and the baddest tag team on the planet.
This is gonna get real.
We came here for 37 reasons I'm gonna tell you two. One, to smoke chronic all over this building. And two, is to murder fans.
The Stoner Brothers came from an actual tag team, the Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. They just said, well, you know, they're brothers, we're brothers. They're Steiners, we're Stoners. You be Rick Scott, and I'll be Scott Rick.
Rick Scott. I'm Rick Scott. And I'm Scott Rick. That's right.
Rick Scott and Scott Rick, the Stoners from Bluntsville, Smokelahoma.
They're twins, which puts them obviously ahead of everyone else. They're huge, which makes it even better. And they have a really good offense.
Like I know what they're going for. Oh my God!
We try to make our double team stuff different, man. We're, you know, it's like we're twins, so we want to have that syncness.
Tag is made. Oh!
It's amazing the things they come up with, the brutal moves they come up with, like the Riz Bomb. They made that shit up. It's the trust fall. They put that into wrestling.
Oh, trust fall! Super trust fall!
I like throwing people.
He likes throwing people.
Throwing people is fun.
Friends. Oh, holy shit!
You know, we're pretty safe compared to a lot of other people.
Oh my God!
It's scary how strong those two guys are.
Oh!
Hey, hide your weed when you're around those motherfuckers.
Two. We work at a special needs school for like special needs and like emotionally disturbed kids. I don't know, I just like working there. You get this feeling like every day, like, you know, you've done something good. You know how people are, they look at people like, oh, those are two big fuckers. They're just fucking thugs or whatever, you know? We're not thugs. We're nice guys.
A big Samoan drop off the top. Oh! Chippy's not getting up from that one.
Sweetheart, teddy bears of guys, unless you piss them off, and then they become real serious real quick. They're one of those exceptions to the rules that I think aren't where they should be in wrestling.
Some of the best matches I've seen, the Stoner Brothers have been in them. I mean, I think they were holding like 4 tag team titles for 4 different companies at one point.
I feel privileged to have known them when they were, you know, itty-bitty baby wrestlers, basically, and watching them kind of grow and mature into a fucking awesome tag team.
The Stoner Brothers are the best motherfucking tag team in the world!
I think it's Getting Baked, kicking ass, and their amateur record.
Oh.
I think it's like a trifecta.
Yeah, and they get to do all 3 at the same time at Hoodslam, which is why I think they're going to be around for a very long time.
Bring on the competition! If it's our way, then it's the highway!
Chupacabra. I taught him everything he knows. I invented his gimmick. No, fuck. I want you to use that to piss them off.
This is El Chupacabra, and this is Hoodslam. This is real!
Sam and I met years ago, and he heard that there was a certain couple of wrestlers that were better than him.
And I went out and I found him, and I was not disappointed. He has a character that he came up with on his own. You know, there's been copycats, but no one has been close to hold a candle to his flame.
Comes out to the ring. It has a big spiky back. It's got Courtney Crimson often leading him on a leash. It's known for some of the most extreme moments in Hoodslam history.
Yeah, Taylor's just a real dude. He comes into a room, shakes everybody's hand, hugs everybody from the ring crew to the band. He's got a big heart. You can tell by the way he loves his family.
Shorts and a shirt. Go get pajamas on. Mom? The daily life of El Chupacabra.
Outside the ring, I'm a father, a husband. Like I said, I have 3 beautiful kids, a lovely wife, and my life other than wrestling is to take care of them.
Do you think it's silly what your dad does for a living?
Yeah.
What's so silly about it?
Yeah, once he bites someone on the finger and the butt.
It started off just as like a crush, you know, like, oh, he's cute, he's funny, you know. Of course, like he played sports, so he was a jock, so that was, you know, that was helpful. Like he was hot, he was funny, he played sports, and he was hot, you know. There's some matches that he'll wrestle, and I'm like, oh my god, like he'll, you know, jump off the top rope out to the outside, and my heart stops for a second, and then he'll fall, and he'll look at me like I'm okay, and I'm like, whew.
She loves it. My wife says she loves what I do, but I know deep down inside she's just scared for what I do. It was an impromptu match, and I took a big boot to the face.
As soon as I seen him, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. He's like, no, it's okay, it's just a bruise, it's just a bruise. I'm like, it's not a bruise. By the time I'm in tears because his face was completely, it was flat.
And I went in almost a complete shock. I had to stop myself right there, and I just calmed myself down. I mean, I had to walk back through the crowd to get in my car so then I could drive to the hospital so I can actually get, you know, medical attention.
Driving and then having to like look over and see his whole face completely smashed was, oh man, it was horrible. It was bad. And then, of course, the next day, it was SPW. I walk in and he's in the ring with his face like all bandaged up. And I walk into the thing and I'm like, Taylor Christopher Correa. And everyone was like, I told him to not go in there. I told him to stay out, I was livid. I'm like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, we just left the emergency room. What are you thinking right now?
Between $18,000 and $20,000, somewhere between there was the toll that I took for my face.
How much did you make?
On that night, if anything, I probably made 20 bucks. So you do the math.
Where's the insanity and where's the dedication? Where's the line?
Right. I don't think there is a line.
You play hopscotch with it.
Yeah.
You jump back and forth. That's what it is. Insanity and dedication is the same thing.
Skeleton protection all over the place. Comes off the ropes. Oh!
I've sacrificed a lot of time with my family, my wife, my kids, because I've had this goal in mind that this is my goal, this is what I need to do. I honestly am content of where I'm at. I've given up a couple years ago understanding that I'm not gonna go to the big time. I'm not gonna go to WWE. I know I'm not that big, I'm not that muscular, I have too many tattoos. I became content with that. I sacrificed my body. Every time I step into that ring, I lose years probably off of my life for just the things that I do.
People want to always claim that what we do is fake.
It's fake, then how is it that I get hurt or that I become sore or that I'm physically impacted by it? It's infuriating.
The pain is real, the physicality is real. The only thing is that I know who's gonna win, and that's it.
Professional wrestling is an illusion. In a lot of ways, it's very Zen-like because we're trying to create the illusion of two guys trying to hurt each other, when in fact we're doing everything in our power to take care of each other and make sure that we don't get hurt.
Destroyer!
So there's a weird kind of violence, but it's really not, you know, it's really actually a dance. It's a very violent dance with each other.
Hoodslam is popular because it attracts so many non-wrestling fans. It transcends it being professional wrestling with the stigma of it being fake, and now it's just entertainment wrapped in a wrestling pretzel. So it's much more digestible for the average person. The jig is up on wrestling. Newsflash. Wrestling, kayfabe's been broken forever. Why are we trying to hold on to this ghost of success from years ago?
Kayfabe was back when people thought wrestling was real. And kayfabe is keeping the secrets of pro wrestling a secret.
Well, if I told you what kayfabe is, it'd be an oxymoron.
Yeah, Jay popped for it.
What Hoodslam does is it says, everyone knows wrestling is fake, so let's run with that to the umpteenth degree, and let's make everything as fake as possible.
Pause! Are you looking for us? My gimmicks are getting fucked up. I gotta fix them.
As we said, shit is real here. This is happening now. These gimmicks are getting fucked up.
All right. Pause!
Let's have the most outlandish gimmicks. Let's have the most crazy angles. Let's do the most ridiculous spots. Any limit that there has been on wrestling up to now doesn't exist with Hoodslam.
Oh my God!
Of course, there's always people that are like, oh, that shit's fucking fake. No, it's real. Stone dead, look you in the eye. Shit's fucking real. Fought a banana, fucking real. No, you're wrong. This is fucking real. I don't fight in the fucking octagon, okay? What I do is legit. I'm a fucking athlete. I'm a real trained professional, all right? So fuck you.
Motherfucking real! Let me hear it!
And the crowd is the best part of Hoodslam. Because there's, no matter how high they are or drunk they are, they know that when the guy pulls out a bag of Doritos, that those are a bag of Doritos. But when the guy gets body slammed on them and sells like they were thumbtacks, the crowd sells as if they were thumbtacks. You don't get that anywhere else.
That's fucking real shit. So many sharp edges. And the worst part is the spices.
Them not even care that we're completely shattering kayfabe, flushing it down the toilet, shitting on over 100 years of wrestling tradition, and they still come up and are okay with it. It's fascinating. It means that we did something right.
And that's what we were able to do, a lot of things that other wrestling companies are not, and why we were able to do things that to us seem very simple and good ideas, but everyone else was terrified of even attempting to do. They didn't want to alienate their audience. We didn't have a wrestling audience. We were going to build a brand new audience.
So, you know, we tell the fans this is real, and they get into it like it's real, and for those 3 hours that Hoodslam is going on and they're there, it is real.
So either you get it or you don't. You should get it. What we're trying to do, it's very tongue-in-cheek, what we do. And it's also very awesome and real.
The heart that everybody puts into it is real. The effort that everybody puts into it is real. The dedication everybody puts into it is real. A lot of effort, a lot of fucking time has been put into making Hoodslam what it is. It's real. You tell that crowd out there screaming their fucking heads off that their reaction is their reaction real?
This is real! This is real!
I don't know who or what inspired Pujak to be exactly the way Pujak is, but I would imagine it must have been one hell of a performer.
Pujak is I guess a parody of a wrestler named New Jack. New Jack is very well known as a very hardcore wrestler. He's probably one of the most known hardcore wrestlers there is in the business.
Pujak emulates New Jack to a T. Comes out to the same music, ripped up Hoodslam shirt or Pujak shirt just like New Jack did.
There's just no emotion but like hate or depression like on his face. Like everybody's doing the arm signals when he's coming out.
That's something where you have to go out and you have to be a little wild. You have to be out there. You have to have fun with it.
It was a perfect fit for him, and the fans have grown to love it. They expect it every show, and they get it every show. And a lot of them don't even know who New Jack is, I hate to say. They don't even get the joke.
Hoodslammers, it's motherfucking Pujak!
Any legit wrestling fan knows that's the gangsters music, and only Hoodslam fans would reference it to Pujak's music. Like the funniest stuff ever. Like I wanted to die laughing because I'm like, that's the gangsters match going on, not a Pujak. I'm not even gonna clarify.
I mean, it's New Jack, except for it's a white guy in a Winnie the Pooh costume, who's not a wrestler, who's actually only a referee.
The referee's role is basically to be there as the rule enforcer, but also at the same time be invisible and make sure the eyes are on top of the wrestlers. Or to look away while something happens behind your back.
It's cool seeing him step out of his element to get into our world as a wrestler.
And I like seeing Toby to be able to play like that, like to be a part of the wrestlers in that facet than just being an awesome referee. And I mean, Pujak is a huge staple of Hoodslam. He's one of the icons that people love to see, you know. And he makes his cameo, he lays waste, and then he leaves, and everyone's fucking happy.
Pujak started when Toby told me he had a Winnie the Pooh costume.
It was owned by a girl who also does Rocky Horror. Her name is Christy. It was her mom's suit. Around Halloween time, her mom would dress up in the Pooh Bear suit, and she would invite little kids, and her daughter Christy would jump out and scare the kids. Unfortunately, Christy's mom lost a fight with cancer and passed away a couple years ago. And the Pooh Bear suit was hanging up in the closet. And I saw the Pooh Bear suit, I loved it a lot, and I put it on, and Christy saw how much I loved it, and she gave it to me. Wrestling-wise, I've kind of realized it's more as a hobby now. I make a little money extra on the side, would be great. I don't think I'm gonna be looked at anytime soon. I definitely haven't put myself out there, unfortunately, in the past 7 years I've been doing it. And I'm getting up to the point where I'm almost 30. And at a certain point, I'm gonna realize I'm not gonna get looked at all. You know, so I'm just enjoying what I can do right now. I enjoy going out almost every weekend whether I'm reffing or wrestling. And enjoying the time I'm out. It keeps me sane.
We were on a trip from Reno to Vegas. There was nothing but like hills and fucking like hills have eyes type shit all over the place. And we stopped at like this random ass.
It was a beach, a desert beach.
We see all these warning signs saying not to pull off into this beach, that there's live ammunitions and all this stuff. And we're like, we're gonna go check it out.
With
no water.
Barrels and shit in the ground.
And the barrel, and it said like, yeah, don't go in this area. It's contaminated with what the fuck ever. You're
chasing
gonna die.
lizards, fucking trying to catch lizards and shit because we're bored and high as shit.
Someone's idea is, let's catch a lizard, bring it to Vegas with us, and let it go in one of the elevators.
So these little fast lizards, and there's there's 4 big wrestlers like creeping up on a lizard.
And we're like
trying to chase it and catch it.
So we have 4 grown men out in the middle of the desert trying to catch a lizard, talking like 1920s gangsters.
Get over here, little lizard, see?
Gonna come over here, lizard.
You're never gonna get out of here alive, see? And I mean, we just all look at each other and realize how utterly ridiculous it is right now.
From that, we basically, after we couldn't catch a fucking lizard for shit. So we got back in the car and kept going. Then we just kept doing the 20s gangster gimmick.
Yeah, see? Pass the blunt, see? You're going the wrong way, man. Just doing that for hours and hours. And we're like, all right, we just gotta do this in the ring. It's too funny.
Shut the fuck up, and now they're finishing his fucking...
We're like, Mike Rain, you're gonna do the James thing. You're gonna be the 20s gangster. You're gonna be our drug dealer from the fucking Stoner Brothers. And you're gonna have a posse. You're gonna be the James gang.
James is such an odd character for him to have, to me. And it's such an odd choice for Hoodslam. Like in the middle of this amalgam of all nostalgia with video games and ribs to other wrestlers, out of nowhere there's a 1920s prohibition gangster. Why not? Fans know and hear that music and see James come out. They know it's going to be a verbal battle that's going to come up.
Now, he doesn't even have to say anything. He just grabs the mic and looks at the crowd and they start chanting, "Shut the fuck up."
I don't give a fuck what you drunk hippies and lesbians got to say about me,
James gets on the microphone. The crowd is just, he'll point out, single out people and fucking go off on them.
Fuck you, buddy!
There's one particular guy. He always stands in the left-hand corner. He has a hat on, and he gives me shit.
Shut the fuck up, yeah, Sid!
After this last show, he came up to me. He saw me getting my suit and stuff, and he just said, "Man, I love to hate you so much. Thank you so much for always giving me shit."
Hey, you motherfucker! Do you ever wear anything different? Say, hey, fuck you!
And that's magic, and that's what's walking out at Hoodslam is like, is you know that the crowd is just so loving it and having such a great time, and it really makes all the hours on the road and all the shows that I drive to that are a disappointment, it makes it all worth it.
I mean, James Gang, you know, it's exactly, you're not fighting one opponent, you're fighting a gang.
You got Stoney Montana, and you've got...
Who just jumps right off, he jumps right off the screen.
Stoney Montana is based off like the Scarface gimmick. And then Drugs Bunny is just...
Gangster Bunny on drugs, bro.
Then we just we thought through who was in California and who would fit the part, and one of the Stoner brothers suggested Mikey J.
Mikey J is a calm, normal guy who just started a couple years ago that's working hard to get good. Drugs Bunny is a cocaine-fueled maniac.
It's almost like somehow cocaine, which is very destructive to the heart, it's almost somehow his superhuman use of the substance has strengthened his heart somehow, almost. As a documentarian, when I see Drugs Bunny doing what he does and kind of lasciviously, then in some sort of a limp dick coke frenzy, thrusting and gyrating himself at the audience, just like real life, no one likes a coked up asshole.
I remember when I heard about the character, and I laughed my ass off for like 5 straight minutes. Like, that is fucking awesome. Drugs Bunny. I still laugh hearing the name. I fucking...
I think that's one of the greatest things about the James Gang is they absolutely hate me. They hate Stoney Montana, love Drugs Bunny.
He really caught on to the fans. I think this last Hoodslam I saw somebody who was dressed up like him.
There was a guy dressed head to toe, I think 2 of them, like Drugs Bunny, and I was like, son of a bitch, I can't believe it.
Who'd have thought? I mean, all it would really take is put on a bunny nose and a pair of rabbit ears, and all of a sudden you have 500 people wanting to chant your name.
Wait a second, Drugs Bunny! Look out! Oh my God!
It's odd, isn't it? It goes to show you that gimmick can be everything, but it's also the fact that that gimmick, his Mikey J gimmick, doesn't allow him to be like that.
As Mikey J, he's just generic wrestler B wearing tights. And as Drugs Bunny, he is so over the top with his character. It is ridiculous.
Oh, Coke Slam! The Coke Slam on the trash can stops Bojack in his bear tracks.
All this shit that he does is amazing. Plus, I mean, he gets pretty wrecked before those matches.
Let's fucking go!
I mean, usually at that time I see him backstage with the glossy eyes going on at around that time. So, and he's still able to do good work.
Yeah. You can come out as a regular wrestler and try and win the fans over as best you can, just being a good guy against the bad guy, or you can be a drug-addicted 1920s gangster rabbit in front of a bunch of drunken stoned people and they fucking love it.
And a lot of people's favorite hood slammer, a lot of the hood slammers' favorite hood slammer seem to be Drugs Bunny. Everybody marks for Drugs Bunny.
Crowd reaction, you know, live for that shit. People, you know, chanting your name, knowing that you had a great match with someone. It's just what I love. It's hard to explain, like, why would you do that? You know, it hurts and you're getting no money. It's like, why does anyone do anything?
Dream come true.
So like Sheik was saying, Hoodslam's everything he loves about wrestling. So I was like, what else is awesome about like going out and doing shit? Like in concerts, you know how they like give out free beers or they pour booze in people's mouth? Yeah. So I'm gonna do that tonight. They think they're getting Jack Daniels, but they're actually getting ridiculous, shitty fucking old $3 a pint old crow. Fuck the fans. Fuck those fans. Yeah, fuck the fans. It's out of love, but fuck them.
Taking everybody to pull up. Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans.
Fuck the fans. FTF. That's what it means, is fuck the fans. Fuck the how was fuck the fans created, man? Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans. Fuck the fans.
Brain fuck them, mind fuck them in their Neden hole. Fuck them in their mouth.
Fuck them in their ear.
In the ear, up the nose. However you want it, fuck the fans.
It started because, like I said, we did 5 free shows before we charged a dime for tickets. And a lot of times we were doing things that have never been done before in wrestling ring.
And when we're doing the creative for Hoodslam, our goal first and foremost is to entertain ourselves.
People are like, well, is that gonna go well? What are the fans gonna think? I was like, well, fuck the fans. If they don't like it, they can take their no money and leave. Fuck them. This is our show. This is for us, not for them.
And then the fans took to it like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, fuck us. That's awesome. Couldn't have happened better.
After the first couple shows of like, fuck the fans, it doesn't matter what they think, it's like, oh, let's fuck the fans. There's some cute girls out here.
Who would say that? Well, the people in Oakland kind of get it. They know we don't really like hate them, but they know we shouldn't say it, and they love us because we say it.
Fuck you! And I've always said the difference between Hoodslam and any other wrestling show is ultimately it comes down to a wink and a nudge. We look the audience in the eye and go, get it? You know, we're playing around, we're having fun. Are you having fun too? I think that's the difference. I think the fact that we let the fans know that they're in on it. They're not the butt of the joke, they're not the rube or the mark. They're part of the family. They're as important to the show as we are.
If you're ready for Hoodslam, give me a fuck yeah! Fuck the fans!
The audience is the elusive, we just want to be entertained audience, which is the hardest audience to obtain. That is who comes to Hoodslam. So when they go to the show and the bad guy character comes out and does something bad, they react to it. When the good guy does something good, they react to it.
Blow that smoke in my face one more time and see what fucking happens.
Someone takes a fucking bump or someone does, you know, like the inverted flip off a clothesline, people lose their fucking shit and go crazy.
Holy shit, he's all over the place. What's he gonna do? Oh my God! That's gonna be it, 2 and 3!
Why? Because they just witnessed this awesome athletic thing. They're invested in the characters and all that. They just go as entertainment.
Get the fuck out of the way! Get the fuck out of the way!
To be able to perform for people that are just a receptive, diverse audience is like a gift.
Juice Lee, Mike Hayashi, who you've seen, is one of my favorite characters, is one of the first ones I came up with.
Sheik and I were discussing, you know, everybody else is doing all these outlandish gimmicks and what direction we want to go in. We kind of quickly put together a persona, which is basically all your anime/fighting game heroes.
Just a combination of Bruce Lee, and Jackie Chan, and Ryu, and Double Dragons, and every ninja or martial arts, or any hero you've ever seen from any type of that genre. That's him rolled into one.
You know, heroic, silent type. He's not there for himself, he's there for others. He's there to right wrongs, to do the most noble thing possible.
And they love Juice Lee here at Hoodslam.
Clearly all the acrobatic stuff is unparalleled by anybody.
I like to be just right on the edge of danger. I like to just wrestle right to the point where it could get sloppy, it could get messed up.
Anytime Mike Hayashi is on a show, you know you're gonna get your money's worth and you're gonna see something you're gonna tell somebody about the next day.
Then we add in the heart rips, which I'm very fond of, the fatalities, so it could be like Liu Kang.
Oh my God, he ripped out his fucking
started off with as real a product as we could. We got parts, guts from a pig, and it smelled like crap all over the place, and I feel really bad for the guys who had to wrestle afterwards.
He gets a lot of respect, as he should, because he takes so many risks, knowing full well where they could lead to, but he's willing to do it.
Go to the top! Oh my God!
Anybody who I ever dive out from the ring to the floor, I trust them with my life. And it's just sort of a different kind of bond you get there. It's a different sort of trust. It's really beautiful. I mean, there's no real way to describe that with words.
He's very serious about wrestling, and he works very hard.
Always felt like I was a decent athlete, and I've always felt like, you know, if I could just find a way to outlet all this ability and all this athleticism in a constructive instead of destructive way, and that's pro wrestling, then I could have a whole lot of fun. And when I have fun, the fans will love it.
The guy who plays the Panther is originally a friend of my brother's from high school. I met him when I was like 14.
I'd always gone to indie shows over the years, just kind of semi-sporadically. Pretty much ended up becoming kind of a hanger-on at Devil Mountain Wrestling.
And when I started Hoodslam, he was very helpful in a lot of it. And I would kind of just mess with him. I was like, oh yeah, tonight you're refereeing. And he would have no experience.
I became a heel through my lack of ability, through my lack of training, because I didn't know the cues. I didn't know when to do stuff.
Have no idea how to do it. You want to show me how to do anything? No. Just go out there and do it. It would terrify him.
Matt LaPlaca is a rambling drunk.
Yes.
When he gets drunk, that guy can ramble, man.
Break the fourth wall. We're talking to you. We're talking directly to you.
Plus, he's got the gimmick tooth right now, too, so it's even worse because he's sitting there like, all in your face.
Him, of all people there, more so than anybody else there, seems to obviously have no limits on anything in his fucking life.
We did a movie called Fucking Nemo. That's the one where they painted my dick up to look like the one fish from Painting Nemo, and we actually went and got a trout in Chinatown and sliced it open.
Anything is a fucking option for him. There's no such thing as something that's uncouth or that you shouldn't do.
And I fucked that fish for about a good 2 minutes to make sure we got the shot, and it was disgusting.
To his aid or detriment is going with what is in his head at that moment.
And how am I supposed to get my dick hard? It's painted up orange and white, and I'm trying to stick it into a trout. They offered the microwave it for me, but...
And then one day he's like, you know, I can get a Panther suit if you want me to keep refereeing.
This is some scummy, made in Mexico, brought across the border. Parts of it are made out of auto upholstery. It's a sketchy fucking costume.
The audience is not very big on Panther because when we brought him in as the referee, we had him be, because he's old, he'd be old school. He would follow the rules and hate all the stuff we do at Hoodslam that degenerates the purity of the sport of professional wrestling.
There's something about the Panther that really just brings out the worst in really anybody around him.
At first, it wasn't always like that. At first, they would cheer, oh, it's a big plushy guy in a referee shirt, but eventually they started just doing kind of shitty things.
What the fuck are you doing? What? What? What the fuck just happened?
They bring signs. People I don't know bring fucking signs. Like, the suit's over. I'm not.
My body, I was obviously never built to be in the pro wrestling business. I mean, I can't build muscle to save my fucking life. You know, me building muscle is like someone without fingers playing with Legos. It's just not gonna go anywhere. It's like a blind person trying to collect baseball cards. You know, it's just pointless. But with Hoodslam, I've been able to come out there and be somebody, be something I'm not. Just being myself and then being some guy that didn't put on a fursuit and get, you know, insults and trash hurled at him. That probably wouldn't be possible. You know, I would just be another customer. I'd just be another guy in line for the show, you know? That Panther suit has made me the man that I am today.
I don't think
you have a belt, but you do have a title.
We do have a title. We fought it for a long time. It was part of our decision to not be like every other wrestling company. We didn't want to have everyone chasing the belt. That's old. But we did want to have a champion. We don't have a face of our company. So we came up with something new. It is the Golden Gig.
The Golden Gig champion for fucking ever!
At Hoodslam, you climb the ladder to get a little bit higher. But when you have the gig, you're at the top.
You're the best around. Nothing is ever going to bring you down, unless, of course, pinfall or submission.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hoodslammers, once again, your new Hoodslam champion, the man with the golden gig. That is some bullshit.
Say if someone wants to get hit with a chair shot, then take a chair shot. If it doesn't make them bleed on impact, they'll take the razor blade and gig. Or you can do this one all the way up, go down, maybe just karate chop it in there.
Most people do the poke, or some stupid people do the fucking slice my skull, and then you get the trickle, and you get the Triple H.
It's one of those things when other wrestlers like, oh, Hoodslam, like, you guys have a champion? It's like, we have a Golden Gig holder. They crack up. They know immediately what we're talking about. So, different, new, innovative, awesome. That's us.
Craziest stuff would always be the displayed labor sideshow. There's no beating them for absolute shock value.
They pull out the glass and stomp around in it. They will take a deck of cards and staple every single one of them to their body. She puts a tube through her nose and pulls it out of her mouth, and then they take drinks out of it. Like, they're just crazy. They do all the crazy, hardcore, extreme things, so we don't have to. I mean, we do a lot of things that other people would consider taboo, but art is supposed to be provoking. It's supposed to shock you. It's supposed to get you. And it's not always nice.
The abortion, obviously, the in-ring live abortion with special effects was obviously one of the top craziest things, and it was a big crapshoot.
There's a term in professional wrestling where if a match goes really bad, it's called an abortion because it just went wrong. And I had this idea, I was like, what if we actually did an abortion gimmick in the ring?
It's like, okay, are they gonna really go for this? Because we might just fucking piss off this entire crowd. And we're halfway into the card, they might just fucking leave. But fuck them, they already paid.
Thea 2 was pregnant, and she wasn't sure which one of the Batabi brothers was the father.
So she said, fuck it, it's not worth it, I'm gonna get rid of it. Even though she was probably due like in 2 days, 3 days. Basically, late third trimester abortion is what we did.
Pulled off this thing with pumps that were shooting fluids all over the audience, and there was a little fetus that I removed. It was definitely questionable taste.
Of course, this all led to a fight between two zombies, which, why would it not?
A fetus was used as a fucking weapon. And the crowd starts chanting, fuck the fetus. You know? Fucking hey.
And they loved it because as obscene or vulgar or fucked up as it was, in the context of the storyline that we were telling, it made 100% perfect sense to do.
We play these different barriers that, other places would stay away from because, it's entertainment and it's art and it's supposed to be fun. And if we can all laugh about it together, it's better than keeping it a secret.
We've never taken shots at a race. We've never taken shots at a religion. We've never taken shots at sexuality.
And I think that's a good line to have. Even with kayfabe being broken, you're still going to push someone's buttons and be very offensive to them if you're not respecting their lifestyle.
Oh, this is not gonna end good.
Oh my God!
Whoa!
The reason the whole we're pushing the envelope and we're being politically incorrect and we're trying to kind of be, you know, are you offended? Good. The only reason that works is because our audience in Hoodslam, unlike any other audience at any other wrestling show that I've ever worked for, they're really smart. Like, they're really, really smart people. They don't get their feelings hurt, they don't get offended, they don't lose their temper, they get the joke.
Doc Atrocity is a very, very widely respected veteran from Northern California wrestling.
He's got a mind for wrestling that is very unique.
Yes! I am that guy!
I always refer to myself as like a monster kid. You know, I loved horror movies and anything scary, and I was like, this is like a real life horror movie right here. And that's what appealed to me.
All right, let's slam! Are you guys excited?
Where the James gang, you know, prostitution, drugs, running numbers, whatever the fuck that is, that's how they make their money. His level of crime is on an entirely different level. It's like crimes against humanity, crimes against nature.
You know what? Fuck the kid! Fuck you! You stupid fucking teenage slut! I am sick and tired of your bullshit! Get the fuck out of my room!
Very verbose, very eloquent. Obviously studied diction or studied debate, possibly at one of the Ivy League schools.
Yeah, you son of a fucking bitch!
He's someone that helps with a lot of our special effects, our heart pulls, a lot of the gore.
It's the one time where I get to let down all my inhibitions and just completely just have a good time.
He's made a walking video game out of Red Rhino 2,999. At first, it was just a joke.
Red Rhino was a wrestler. Red Rhino's this guy I know from down south, and he's just awful.
The Super Red Rhino, the 2099!
Half cyborg, half rhino, half man. So he's like 3 halves from the future.
That's right, he's a rhinoceros and he's a cyborg and I fucking made him! That's lower,
He does the very slow forearm raise to make the wrestler sit there and have to wait as he makes robot noises. And of course, the gore, because he is the rhino. He hits him with the horn. Entrance and his energy is like, if you could bottle it and sell it, you'd make $1 million, you know? It's that one-of-a-kind thing that you can't really teach.
Like, I describe some of the things that Shane has helped get done at Hoodslam. I'll reference these things to people who work regular 9-to-5 jobs and don't have any kind of performance art in their lives, and they look at me like I'm fucking insane.
I wanted to do something that was considered, even in the wrestling business, a bit risky, but I wanted to do what's called the flaming table spot.
Get the fucking
Unfortunately, whether it was the lamination on the table or the amount of moisture that's in the air, the humidity in that building, we went through an entire box of matches and an entire bottle of lighter fluid trying to get that table to catch on fire, and it just wouldn't. It just would not catch fire. Me and my son are trying to get this table lit, and everything is stopped at this point.
Shane's got his kid dressed up in transvestite, like squirting the shit out of everything and then tossing matches and squirting more. And like, I was just afraid that maybe it was just gonna all catch at once, you know?
She might have like 50 matches at once.
You could be in fucking Phoenix, Arizona on August 1st. You could be on top of an aluminum building.
Yeah.
In the playa with a fucking that shit baking in the sun, and it would never go on fire with a fucking match.
Panicking, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, oh my God, this is totally falling apart.
I think I was sitting against the wall, and my feeling the whole time was like, move it along, just get it over with. Stop trying to light on it. It's not gonna fucking happen. Just go work with it.
Eventually, we managed to get a flicker of a flame, a slight flicker of a flame. It looked like a birthday cake. That's what it looked like.
And then there's only so much you can do and just say fuck it, so choke slam. You know, let's just finish it. Take our loss.
But to me, in hindsight, I look back in that and I go, that's Hoodslam right there. We set him up. The fans were like, oh my God, flaming table. This guy's gonna get killed right here. Oh my God, we're gonna see this thing. And they got all worked up out of it. And then accidentally, but it still worked out, we pulled the rug out from underneath them. And we're just like, oh, here it comes. And no, that's not gonna happen. And that's Hoodslam. That's the fuck the fans mentality right there. Is any other wrestling show, that would have been the biggest botch imaginable. It would have been horrible. I probably would have never worked in that company again if that happened at a wrestling show. But at Hoodslam, it was better because it botched. It worked the whole mentality of the shows that we do. The fact that it went wrong was right. It's hit and miss. You never know what they're gonna catch on to and what they're not. You know, there's sometimes where I'm like, nobody will ever know this happened. And then it's all over the internet the next day. And then there's other times where we plan something immense and just nobody gets it, you know? It just goes completely over their heads. Like the brain transplant with the zombie and the gorilla, there were crickets in the audience when I was doing that gimmick right there.
Oh, the gimmick's hilarious, and it was one of the longest standing ones from the first show. Juice Lee rips his fucking heart out, becomes zombie Vinny.
He's infected with the alien virus. Doc Atrocity comes up with the idea, we'll switch his brain into a gorilla, and a gorilla into him. And I don't get how that helped, really. It seemed to just make things worse.
You know that? Do I make mistakes? Yes, I make mistakes. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. But it's not my fault.
That's taken so many left-hand turns. I mean, that angle is labyrinthian at best.
So he's trying to help the gorilla become a better father for the baby that's not even his anymore. It's a gorilla brain. Why does he care about the baby?
I'm sick and tired of your fucking bullshit, Till. You want to do something about it? Let's do it right here, right now. Hardcore rules.
That's so weird. Again, given a million years with a million chances, I would have never come up with an angle like that.
They fought intergalactic aliens from another dimension who said that the zombie baby was their savior. So they came to fight them.
Makes complete sense.
I retired about 3 years ago, and I was pretty much done because it wasn't fun for me anymore. And if you're not having fun and you're not getting paid, really, what's the point, you know? I came back and I do Hoodslam because it's fun. I look forward to it all month long.
There is nobody in this building that wants to step up to the plate, rub some fertilizer on their nutsack and grow a pair and challenge us tonight.
Sometimes I can't figure things out, or I just need to like talk to someone, and he can just tell you right away yes or no if it's good or not.
For someone who I respect so much in that creative aspect of wrestling, to turn to me or anybody and say, like, what is your opinion on this? Means the world to me. Shane means the world to me. He's the cool, I wish he was my dad.
When I watch WWE, which is occasionally, to me, it looks like watching an episode of Captain Kangaroo or Sesame Street. It's a kids program that's geared towards kids. And it's just way too sanitized.
I think the challenge the WWE faces today is the sheer volume of content that they're putting out. When you compare content of today to the content that we romanticize, at that time, what were they producing? An hour of syndicated television. Then they would do 4 pay-per-views a year. Great system.
It was Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, and that was it.
Then they started throwing in, okay, let's just do 2 more a year. Then let's do 1 every month. Then you had the other companies come in and we're gonna run 1 a month. And
3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, an hour of main event, an hour of NXT. I believe there's an hour of Superstars. There's
Saturday Morning Slam just
there's
started.
Saturday Morning Slam. There's a series of YouTube published and other products. That's like writing 100 movies a year. It's a ridiculous workload for anybody.
I'm not gonna invest 12 to 15 hours of my life to watch something I don't even enjoy in the first place, you know?
Everything is spread so thin to reach all those goals, which are generating a ton of revenue for content, but ultimately the danger could be of devaluing your content.
Wrestling used to be all about the slow burn. It would take a year for that big showdown to happen. But now they're cramming so much material that they can't afford to do the slow burn. Everything has to happen rapid fire, boom, 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 boom. There's not enough emotional attachment to the characters anymore.
If you put blue dots over half the guys' faces, it's the same thing every match.
Okay, here comes Cena's 2 tackles. Here comes a fist drop into the FU. It's very repetitious.
Everyone's in black trunks and black boots, and they all have the same body types, and it's just boring to me.
Well, the product when I was growing up is what made me want to become a pro wrestler. It was larger-than-life characters doing big moves to other big men and looking like a power struggle, the epitome of good versus evil, and it was something I wanted to be involved with. Today's wrestling is just dialogue.
Going back again to the Attitude Era when wrestling was at its last big boom, it was all about how can we outdo our competition? What can we do to get people to watch us and not them? I think it's those riskier ideas, those storylines that kind of blurred the line between entertainment and reality that really got people so excited to watch wrestling.
Here's one thing I've noticed. Wrestling tradition has never drawn money. It talks about the big eras of wrestling, the 80s. They took traditional wrestlers, they turned them into cartoon characters, pitted against each other, way against tradition, drew money.
And nowadays, everybody wants it to be so realistic that you're not playing on these characters and these roles that they used to in the 80s. And people love wrestling that's over the top because when they grew up, wrestling was over the top.
I mean, that's why Vince McMahon in the 80s was able to do what he did, because it was something different. But Slam is that first thing to come along in a long time that feels different. And I guess that's why everybody involved with it is so passionate about it, and I guess that's why the fans have bitten into it the way they have.
We've got something going on that's definitely just special. And every show we've done, I don't think we've topped. There's a lot more to go here.
Let's see how far we can stretch it. Let's see how far the imagination goes, and the imagination of pro wrestlers is pretty whacked out.
And from something that started with a crowd of 40 people in a warehouse with like 10 cats to being on the front page of the Oakland Tribune to being given awards from 2 respected Bay Area publications to the countless thousands and thousands of YouTube views, website hits. This is only growing. This is only going to get bigger.
You can be yourself, whatever yourself is. Fucking let go and enjoy a world. That box in the metro for those hours, everything's gone. Political correctness, your job, everything that haunts you in your life that you have to worry about and bite your fingernails over, it fucking evaporates, and it's such a, especially these days, it's such a welcome respite from society and shit. Fucking shit.
When I first got into wrestling, I wanted to see myself, you know, and on TV as a wrestler, as a big thing and all that. You know, everyone wants to be a superstar, but honestly, the more I'm into it, the more my goals have changed. I used to want to get somewhere else. Now I want to build here. I want here to be great because there's so many great people here, and it's a shame that they don't always get to be properly represented on a national or global scene. So if Hoodslam can grow to the point where all my friends who are very talented and might not necessarily get another chance, you know, now they can have that chance. That's what I want. Because in wrestling, there's so much politics. There's so much bullshit. We starve, we drive 12 hours, we don't get paid shit. And if your 10 minutes out there isn't fun, your whole week is shot, because that was it. You don't have any, that's it for some of these guys. It's really easy to get in a bad mood and have it carry on, but being a part of this, the good mood carries on. If you don't like it, find what you do like, because that's what life's about.
What the fuck? Stop fucking each other, Riv! Hey, Zeus! Jesus! Gonna get fucked up over here! Well, let's start the show!
Hoodslam. I like Hoodslam. I like Hoodslam.
Don't bring your fucking kid! Rockin' Oakland, California! Birds will fall!
Let's see. Let's go down a list of people.
I don't want to go down on anybody.
Because I shoot.